I woke up at 3 a.m. after hearing faint revving from outside. I peeked through the blinds and nearly blacked out. There it was, the shiny dark green Mercedes S550 parked in our neighbor's driveway, engine still purring. My girlfriend, Amelia Asterisk, had earlier told me it belonged to her work husband, not that I cared at the time. But seeing it now made something inside me snap. The betrayal hadn't just been emotional. It was financial, secretive, and flat-out disrespectful. My name's Dylan. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I worked a mid-level job doing tech support for a regional firm. Nothing glamorous. My phone was a hand-me-down. My shoes were the ones I'd had since college. And yeah, I was often scraping by. But I had something I thought was solid. A relationship with Amelia. She was gorgeous, smart, I believed, and had all these stories about climbing the city's social ladder. I trusted her. A few months ago, rent had jumped up on me. My savings were gone. My car, an older Honda Civic, kept costing me money, repairs, insurance. So I made the hard call. I sold the Civic. The money went straight into the rent account, so I could stay afloat. I felt small doing it. I felt ashamed, but I believed it was temporary. Then things got weird. Amelia started pulling away. She stopped talking about us and started referring to my boyfriend in lighter moments. I assumed jokingly. She changed her wardrobe, started going out networking late nights. She got a new apartment closer to downtown. She said it was a side project for her career. Then I found the lease, hidden on her laptop. She'd signed it a month after I sold the car. The side project apartment was for her. And I found bank transfers. She was getting paid by some business owner named Marcus, who she called her work husband. She said to me, bluntly, "You're nice, Dylan, but you're just my safety net. Marcus is a real man with ambition." She laughed at me when I mentioned the broken phone and my worn shoes. "Get a life," she said and walked off. The world tilted. That night, after she'd stormed out of the apartment, I sat in the dark. Something inside said, "You can't let this slide." But I didn't want a messy fight. I wanted something clean, something she'd never see coming. I created a new social media account under a fake name. I followed Marcus. I found his schedule. I monitored his posts. I learned where he parked the Mercedes S550 every night, outside his downtown loft. I found out when his dinner meetings were, what bar he visited, his favorite valet garage. If you like twisted true drama, drop a like and subscribe. And tell me, if you were me, would you go for a direct confrontation or plan something totally silent and unexpected? One Saturday night, she came home late. I pretended I was asleep. I waited until I saw her car door close, heard the staircase above. She shut the apartment door. I slipped out. I got the spare key I'd quietly copied from her keyring weeks ago. Drove downtown, parked 2 blocks from Marcus's loft. Hid my Civic rental car in a shadow. I walked to where the Mercedes was, listened to the engine running, took a photo. Then I slid in, started it quietly. The whole rush felt surreal. Lights flickered. Street noise faded. I drove the luxury car slowly out of its parking garage, through the city streets. I knew if I crashed or got caught, I was done. But I didn't care anymore. I didn't go fast. I just wanted him to notice, to feel exposed, to know that his real man status was an illusion, that someone he dismissed could quietly flip his script. I parked the Mercedes in front of my old apartment building, left the engine running, took a video from across the street. I got back in, locked it, and walked away. She didn't see me. He didn't see me yet. I was wide awake when I got back to the apartment. I left the door unlocked like I'd never left. I slid back into bed and listened to Amelia's breathing. Calm, peaceful, like she hadn't just burned our entire relationship to the ground. By 6:45 a.m., the text started lighting up her phone. The first came in hot. "Marcus, where's my Sayar?" Then, "Marcus, why the hell was my Benz parked on your side of town?" "Marcus, you gave someone my key?" She sat up fast, looked at me like I might have overheard, but I stayed still, fake asleep, breathing deep. She got up and paced around the apartment, firing off quick, panic texts. I watched through slitted eyes as she walked into the kitchen barefoot, nearly knocking over a glass of water. I waited 5 minutes, then woke up. "Everything all right?" I said, rubbing my eyes like I just stirred. She turned with fake calm. "Yeah, just work drama." On a Sunday, she glared. You wouldn't get it. By noon, she was dressed in full panic mode. Heels, blazer, tight ponytail. She flew out of the apartment. I followed 20 minutes later. I wanted to see this happen. I parked 2 blocks away and walked to Marcus's loft building, hidden behind a planter near the valet zone. I saw Marcus already there, pacing. Furious. Suit on, no tie. Hair still wet from a shower. He looked like someone who wasn't used to being out of control. Amelia arrived and immediately went into defuse mode. Soft voice, hand on his chest, trying to sweet talk. But he wasn't having it. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught pieces. You said I could trust you. I don't even know that guy, she insisted. Marcus. Then why is my car in front of his apartment building? What, was this some test? She started crying. Big, fake tears. That's when I dropped the next move. I uploaded the video I took of me parking the Benz. I posted it anonymously, tagging the car, the block number, and the timestamp. I also made a burner Instagram account and messaged it to 3 different friends of Marcus, the ones he posted with most often. The video started getting passed around within an hour. I knew Amelia followed one of them. Within minutes, she was on her phone mid-argument. Her face drained. She started shaking. Marcus looked confused at first, then grabbed her phone to see. He went silent. Then full volcano. Red face. Yelling. At one point, he shouted, "Was this your boyfriend? You told me he was nobody." She tried to grab the phone back, but he pushed her hand away and walked toward his building. She followed, but he turned at the door and said, loud enough for me to hear, "You don't get to talk to me again." This was my wake-up call. He slammed the door behind him. That night, she came home dead quiet. She didn't even pretend anymore. No fake smiles. No small talk. Just silence. We ate dinner across from each other in total stillness. Then she broke it. "You know what you did?" she said, not even looking up. I set my fork down. "What do you mean?" She stared daggers at me. "You followed him. You stole the keys. You made the video." I shrugged. "That's a lot of assumptions." She stood. "You just ruined everything." I looked her dead in the eye. "No, you did that when you called me your safety net." She didn't come home for the next 2 nights. I assumed she was staying at the secret apartment. Fine by me. Gave me space to plan phase 3. But something new happened. One of Marcus's business partners, a guy named Logan, who ran some tech startup in Santa Fe, messaged the burner account I used to send a video. He said, "You saved that guy from making a massive mistake. She's a liar. Almost ruined my last company too. Then, if you ever want a gig, hit me up. You clearly know how to find things out." I stared at the message for 5 full minutes. This thing was getting bigger than I planned. Thursday, 4 days after the video dropped, she showed up with a completely different energy. Dressed down, no muck-up, holding a manila folder. "I want to talk," she said, sounding like someone who'd lost control. I didn't say anything. She handed me the folder. Inside were pictures of us. Old ones. Back when we first met. Notes I wrote her. Little scraps of nostalgia. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said quietly. I didn't know what I wanted. I looked up. "You told me he was ambitious, and I was pathetic. You laughed at my shoes. My phone. I was wrong," she said. "I was scared. You're more real than he ever was." I wanted to believe it, but I didn't, because I just found something she didn't know I saw yet. The lease on her secret apartment? Marcus didn't pay for it directly. I ran a quick background check through a friend who owed me a favor. The rent payments were coming from Shell LLC, and the LLC was registered under a completely different name. Her EX. Marcus was just a cover story. She wasn't just playing me. She was juggling multiple lives. I wasn't her safety net. I was her alibi. And now, it was time to pull every last card off the table. I wasn't going to sit on this. I spent that night in front of my laptop, digging through public records, old social media posts, and business filings. The LLC that was paying Amelia's secret apartment rent was registered under a name I didn't recognize at first. Jonas R. Velez. I almost skipped it, but something about it bugged me. That name sounded vaguely familiar. Not from Amelia's life, but from a story she once told me about a guy she dated during college who couldn't commit and was obsessed with crypto. I kept digging. Turns out Jonas wasn't just some ex. He was her first real boyfriend. They dated for 3 years. He'd gone off the radar for a while, but now he was running a decentralized property investment startup based out of Tempe, Arizona, complete with a slick-looking website, vague investor language, and no contact phone number. But he wasn't off the map completely. A tag photo on an old friend's Instagram showed him at a tech mixer in Santa Fe. Last month, he was close. And Amelia had kept this secret so deep she pretended Marcus, the work husband, was the one fronting the apartment. But Jonas? He was the real sponsor. I felt sick. I knew what I had to do. Using a new burner Gmail and a fake LinkedIn profile I made within an hour, I emailed Jonas, pretending to be an investor looking to expand in New Mexico. I wrote like someone who didn't know anything about crypto, but had money to burn. I figured it would get his attention. It worked faster than I expected. Next day, 10:42 a.m., he replied, "Hey Dylan, would love to jump on a quick call or meet in person. I'm actually in town this week. Coffee." He used my real name. I froze. He either Googled my IP or Amelia already warned him. I needed to be sure. I responded, asked for a public location. He agreed. I picked Zendo Coffee downtown. A wide-open place. No risk. I wore a baseball cap low over my face, kept my burner phone recording from the inside pocket of my jacket. Jonas walked in like he owned the place. Designer shoes, relaxed vibe, teeth too white. He looked like every startup founder who never actually wrote code or handled real business. Just marketing spin and charm. He spotted me, sat down, smiled like we were old friends. "You're Amelia's guy, right?" Game on. I stayed calm, played dumb, said I didn't know who Amelia was. Claimed I worked for a local real estate investor who might want to get in on crypto-backed housing. He nodded slowly. "Let me ask you a question," Jonas said, sipping his oat milk do. "Have you ever had someone use you just to get ahead?" I raised an eyebrow. "You tell me." That's when he cracked. "She told me we'd be partners. I gave her the LLC to hide assets, cover her rent, whatever. She promised she was done with games. Then I find out she's got another guy fronting as her boyfriend, and she's laughing about it with her friends like I'm AF. ING idiot." So he knew. Jonas wasn't funding her because he still loved her. He was funding her because she promised to help him use the apartment for future business deals, fake tenant setups, to boost his property portfolio. She was supposed to play a support role. Instead, she played everyone. I leaned forward. She told me Marcus was paying for the apartment. Jonas laughed hard. Too hard. Marcus? The guy with the lease Benz? She's been playing that poor dude since the first networking mixer they met at. Guy thought she was single. He stirred his coffee. Truth is, I was going to cut her off next week anyway. But this is better. I was ready to make my final move. I pulled out a flash drive. Told him, "This is her laughing at both of you. She doesn't care about anyone but herself." It had clips from old voicemails. A video I caught months ago of her bragging to her friend, saying, "They're just walking wallets. One's got the car. One's got the rent. One's got the backup plan." Jonas stared at it, then slid it into his pocket. His face had changed. No more chill. Just stone. "I know exactly what to do with this," he said. Later that week, Amelia stormed into our apartment like a tornado. Her eyes wide, hair a mess, holding an eviction notice. "He shut down," she screamed. "Who?" I asked calm. "Jonas." He pulled the LLC, froze the rent payments, and posted that video on a Reddit thread about gold diggers. My face is all over it. She threw her phone at the wall. It shattered. Then she looked at me. "You did this. You're the reason everything's ruined." "No," I said. "You are." Just when I thought it was done, another shoe dropped. Marcus emailed me. Yes, emailed me. Subject line, "Appreciate the heads up." Inside, "I know who you are. I know what you did. Don't worry, I'm not mad." She played me too. But I'm a businessman, and I respect strategy. You ever want to work in events or logistics? I've got some contracts coming up. And then, FYI, she told me you were just some loser. You turned out to be a better operator than both of us. He attached a video. Amelia, packing up her things, crying on his security camera footage as she left his place for the last time. I watched it twice, because I'd found something else in that manila folder she gave me earlier, something she must have forgotten. It was a list. Names. Accounts. Other men. This wasn't just a fling. It was a system, and I was about to expose all of it. I stared at the list for a long time. It had names, usernames, city locations, even notes next to each one. Stuff like Brian S., Denver, always sends $$ when I cry. Kyle L., Austin, thinks he's the only one. LOL. Ken T., Phoenix, used for flights only. There were at least 11 names. All men, each with some role in Amelia's carefully woven web of lies. Each one probably believing they were the one, or at least something real. I realized I'd only scratched the surface. Marcus and I, we were just two of many. And it made everything click. This wasn't personal. To her, no one was. I had options now. Keep this quiet. Just walk away. Let her fall apart in private. But that didn't sit right. Too clean. Too easy. So I planned something she'd never see coming. I set up a fake women's networking event in Santa Fe using one of Marcus's venue contacts. He helped me behind the scenes, said it was cathartic. I branded it as a lifestyle and influence summit, posted job ads and Instagram flyers looking for influencers, models, and marketing professionals. I even created a fake speaker lineup. I made sure Amelia got an invite through someone she trusted. And of course, she showed up, dressed like she owned the place, looking for new marks. We had cameras hidden everywhere. Each guest signed a waiver for influencer promo footage, we said, but really, it was all for documentation. Halfway through the networking mixer, I took the stage. She didn't recognize me at first. I was clean-shaven, better dressed, different posture. I smiled. Before we continue with the next speaker, I said into the mic, we have a special feature presentation. I queued up a video. The screen behind me lit up. It was a montage. Amelia bragging. Amelia lying. Amelia naming names and describing how she emotionally manipulated men to bankroll her lifestyle. Clips from the Reddit thread Marcus posted. The footage I'd edited from voicemails and phone calls. The list of names, with the screen flashing each one boldly across the projector. People gasped. A few women in the crowd recognized some of the men, boyfriends, brothers. Amelia stood frozen in the middle of the room. I stepped off the stage and handed her a hard copy of the list. You played too many hands at once, I said quietly. Now the whole table sees your cards. By the time security escorted her out, Amelia had gone full meltdown, screaming it was all fake, that I was just bitter and obsessed. But no one was buying it, not with all the evidence up on screen. She tried to grab the mic. One of the women pushed her back and said, "You played my husband. You should leave before someone calls the cops." Within hours, the footage was online. Viral. 2 days later, I got a message on Reddit from one of the other names on her list, Kyle L. from Austin. He thanked me for exposing her, told me she'd been taking rent money from him for almost a year under the lie that she was getting out of an abusive situation. He said he tried to contact her once after the video, but she blocked him. Then he said, "A few of us have been talking. There's a group chat now. You were the first domino." He sent me an invite. There were 7 guys in it already, each with their own story. Each one burned. We started comparing notes. One of them, a lawyer, was already drafting a report for possible fraud charges. Nothing huge, but enough to make things hard for her to ever do this again. Marcus? Still leasing luxury cars, but more careful. He told me he runs every new date through a background check now. Jonas? Quiet. Disappeared again. Rumor is he's trying to clean up his shady startup before it implodes. Me? I got a freelance contract for Marcus to help with his event logistics. Pays better than my old job. Still not rich, but I sleep easy. Amelia? Tried rebranding online. New name, new city, somewhere in Idaho. But the viral video keeps following her. Every time she tries to go live on Instagram, the comment section floods with screenshots. She can't escape it. It was short. "You really think you won?" I didn't reply, because I didn't need to.